All right.
Obviously, Marcus Epps got hurt last week. We saw Isaiah Pola-Mao came in and played some significant snaps down the stretch. What have you thought of his performance, not just on Sunday, but his overall development the last few years?
Since we got Isaiah, the thing that stood out about him is his work ethic and his ability to work on his what perceived weaknesses or things that he needs to work on. Since he was a rookie, and really proud about how he's gotten better at that. You can see it from him, the range in the back, deep part of the field. His man-to-man coverage skills have improved. His tackling has improved overall. And just in terms of how he strikes and the physicality in which he plays, it's all night and day from when we first got him. So that's a testament to his hard work. So really proud of him.
He has a unique build. I mean, 6'4" or so, longer safety. Does that kind of give you more freedom as a defense coordinator and how you able to use him?
Well, on defense, the idea you see the top defenses over time in the league. You're dealing with men that can run, men who are physical, who happen to be long. Long levers, whether it's legs, arms, big people. It's a big man sport, so that's always a positive.
Patrick, the performance of that defense is not indicative of what they have done. Have you put your finger on what happened?
The beauty of our league is it's each week is brand new. Each week's brand new, and it doesn't matter what you did before or after. It's just you're just dealing in the present, and sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes we play to the standards, sometimes we don't. A lot of times, it's more than likely is the coach, is us messing it up, or me as the coach. So the big thing is, thankfully we have 14 more opportunities. This week we'll start with the first one, and that's against Cleveland. And I know this. The players, the coaches, we're all in here working diligently to improve, get better each day, and put our best foot forward for Sunday.
This is back to Isaiah, talking about a guy that does all the right things. He's ready when he's called upon. The times that he gets in the game, he does well. How different is it to do that and then to be called into an expanded role like he could potentially be?
You got to make the most of your opportunity. Stay ready, I'm bad with saying, so bear with me. Be ready, stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. Whatever that deal is. I mean, I'm terrible with sayings. I'm bad. But the idea is to make sure you take advantage of any opportunity given to yourself. Like, unfortunately, missing Epps is going to be tough. He's one of our leaders, great football player, great man. But you got to be ready to step into a role. And if it expands, it expands. But a lot of times you earn that through your play and practice.
Coach, obviously it's the NFL, so you're facing NFL level competition every week. But with the Browns' offensive line being so banged up, how much of an emphasis are you really putting on the defensive line, from start to finish to really get after it?
Well, it starts with the league is about the people. So anytime you line up, whether I'm a defensive lineman, whether I'm a cornerback, a safety, you want to know who's in front of you. So with the moving pieces, that's the first and foremost. We got to know who's in front of us. So there's definitely, some juggling that around and making sure we know who the people they're going to deploy out there and get to know them a little bit more. But in terms of strategy, you might force some more communication on the O-line, through different things. But, they practice too. They know their situation, just like all the other 31 teams are dealing with it. But the key is to make sure any time you line up out there on the field, you want to know who's across from you. So just trying to figure out who the people are going to be. That's probably the biggest thing.
What did you see from Tyree last weekend, and what's the next step for him in his development?
Next step, what you're looking for from a defensive end is physicality. Just physicality. And then from there, just again, if you're wrong, be physical. Be physical. Then really defensive lineman, for me, when I talk to those guys, are your eyes right? So, get your eyes in the right place so you can read your keys. Because in this league right now, just like in college, how they're blocking the edge players, to say, okay, the guy I'm lined up across from me is going to single block me. I mean, how often does that happen in the game? A lot of times it's veer release. It's, okay, here comes the tight end. He's motioning over. They're crack blocking you. Veer release, they're flashing somebody back behind for you. So if their eyes are in the wrong place, and a lot of younger players, their eyes can get a little, out of whack sometimes. That's the biggest focus right there for me, talking to a young player.
Has he gotten better at those situations?
Absolutely. That comes from repetition. That comes from repetition. Get your eyes in the right place. Make sure your hands are in front of your eyes. I say this. I do have this saying down because I say it to my players. You gain precision through vision. So if your eyes are in the right place, you can be more precise with your hands. So that's a big focal point for us. It's always been one for me, being the D-line coach. So that's big for me.
You've seen Luke Masterson also step up into role, he came into this team undrafted free agent. What kind of growth and progression have you seen out of him and his confidence level as well in the field?
Luke's always been a confident player. Going back to his Wake Forest days, I knew his coach from Wake Forest, playing the safety position, transitioning here to linebacker. And like a lot of young second and third level defensive players, talking about the secondary and the linebackers, he gained that confidence and experience from playing special teams. That's why it's such a vital role in any roster. As you develop the roster for the now and for the future, those young players embracing their role on special teams, learning how to play NFL football, and then you're able to grow from there. Because those are the guys that are going to become your starters someday. And that's all about roster development, and we do a good job here. And, Tom does a great job of getting those guys ready. I don't know how often you guys talk to Tom, but you sit in Tom's meeting is really, really fun to watch a teacher like that work and teach these guys how to play football. And it all transfers over there to defense, whether it's tackling, using your hands. So Tom does a great job of developing those guys and makes it easier for us when we get them. And however it turns out, whether they mature into the role or is forced from injuries, it makes it a lot easier. But Luke is a hardworking individual, smart. Doesn't say much, but on the field he's talking, and he's a good man. Good man.
Will you talk about your linebacker position behind Divine, please?
In terms of
Just the guys that you have, their development and maturation.
the thing that it stood out before with AP and now with Mike coaching those guys, becoming NFL linebackers in terms of communication. That's key to me. That's key to me. You go out there, you're in the middle of the defense. Can you talk to everybody? Can you play with anticipation? Can you call out the tendencies that we talked about and get that communicated to your players? Can you help the player that might need a little help? Hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, and control the front. So to see those guys embrace that, that's why the beauty of having two guys that played the position. I can sit there and say it, but I'm talking about I was on the remote. My hand was in the dirt, but most of the time I was on the bench getting water for other guys. So it's always good.
Two more, Myra and Vic.
Coach, with Max Crosby allegedly dealing with an injury there, how much does that affect the energy on the defense when watching him, off to the sidelines, kind of bent over a little bit and stuff, and go ahead, Coach.
Head coach talks about injuries, so but Max has energy no matter what's going on. So that's all I could say on that. Max is Max. So, but head coach talks about injury stuff.
What jumps out when you watch Amari Cooper on film?
Really good player. They utilize him in key situations. The ability to catch the ball in traffic. He's fast. They can move him in different spots. The quarterback trusts him in those critical situations. Still a dynamic player in this league. He's proven it for a long time, and fun to go against that type of competition. I'm sure guys are excited about it. All right, thank you.